recent experiences and one or two things with Ming Luo.
If you can tell me a recent positive experience you've had out in the community, and then also like a recent negative experience you've had.
Recent negative is just people and cities in general
Yeah.
because you get so crowded, and then me, because a lot of times I don't actually have my cane out, so I probably like nearly walk into people or actually walk into people, and you know how people get just give you dirty looks, or they just yell at you because you walk into them, or some people just straight up like shove you out the way. So I really find that rude and I don't like it. But at the same time, it's understandable because I don't have my cane out, and then they're probably just being like, "What's this girl doing, just walking into me?"
But I think
But then,
everyone should
at the
just be
same
a bit
time,
more polite to everyone on the
yeah,
street as
same
well, because
time,
there's a lot of
just
just like rudeness and like getting into each other's personal space and like yeah.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
when you have your cane out, are people generally pretty good?
Yeah, when I do have my cane out, people would move out the way, or if they see it last minute, they kind of like freak out and jump out of the way. It's kind of funny. So yeah, it's just I don't take it out a lot of times because I don't know. I normally like go for walks at lunchtime,
Yeah,
and I don't take it out of my office, and because I know the space quite well, so I just always feel like I don't need it.
yeah.
But then you sometimes get in people's way, and they get annoyed, and I get annoyed, and it's like,
But again, like you should be able to go out without your cane if that's what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
People be nice.
Exactly. People be nice. Um, and do you have a
Um,
positive?
yeah, I guess going back to the positive, like my team at work at the moment, well, actually all my teams have been very accommodative, but um, when I started, um, I had this super laggy desktop because the screen reader I use is it takes up a lot of processing power.
Yeah.
Um, but they were just super like, yep, we'll get this fixed straight away, no worries. So they got onto it and got another desktop for me, which is higher specs, so that worked a lot better. So yeah, I just really like that attitude of it's not a barrier, like we'll just fix it, like no
Yeah.
questions at all.
I love that. I always say because I do a bit of consulting with people around accessibility solutions and how to be more inclusive in different spaces, and some of them are employment. And I just say to them, like, if you can bring it back to a really simple question of what do you need to participate, then you're
Mm.
always doing a pretty good job. So it sounds like they definitely come from that approach at your work. So that's good.
Yeah.
So Ming, it's come to the point of the interview where I'd like to ask you like probably one of the most difficult questions that I have to ask everyone that joins me. And that is if you could choose one or two things that you wish non-disabled people knew or did differently, what would they be?
Um, so I guess we kind of touched on this earlier in terms of things that people can do differently.
Yeah,
It's just changing attitudes, like just a general social shift in attitudes towards people with disabilities,
yeah,
um, or just people that are different in some way,
yeah,
in general. But just overall accepting it that it's something that exists, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's not this big deal. I mean, it's one in every five people that have it. So,
yeah.
um, but yeah, if that's something I could change, that's what I would change.
Be a lovely world, wouldn't it? And where like all our spaces are so accessible that people don't even have to think like, is he going to be able to get up that? And I'm like,
Yeah,
everything's fine. Yeah,
I think, yeah, and well, from my point of view anyway, a lot of that stems from having the right attitude, because
yeah,
if everyone automatically just thinks about people with disabilities or thinks about accessibility, like it's so ingrained that they'll, in building anything or planning anything, it will just be part of the process naturally. Whereas
Yeah.
now, you know, when there's a bit of that stigma or is it cost efficient and blah, 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 then it's not the best outcomes for everyone.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's a really, really important point I think you've raised as well in terms of, you know, if everyone's just keeping everyone else in mind as well as themselves when creating spaces or products or anything like that, then everyone will be catered to, which means it's a positive thing as well. Like in terms of a business case, it's a positive thing because then their market has grown from just a narrow market of all non-disabled people, which is, you know, about just over 80% of the population, to then 100% of the population because they're including everyone. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if everyone's thinking about everyone else as well, the advocacy is not up to the certain group of people. Everyone would be advocating for everyone else. So it's
Exactly.
just make things so much easier.
Have each other's backs.
Exactly. But that's a massive thing to change.
I think it is, yes. And I guess, you know, part of what we're doing here is to try and educate people about that and to shift those perspectives and to be more aware of different people's needs as well, and different people's experiences. So, yeah, I think you raise a really valid point there.
Yeah. So, in other words, you're doing a good job, Jason.
Thank you. And so are you.